Hey guys, on this video we're going to install Hyprland on EndeavourOS. I have been asked a lot of times, a couple of times, if my Arch-Hyprland installer script is to use it on EndeavourOS, and I always tell them yes, it's okay, it's okay to use. That's because 6 months ago I have created a video wherein I used the Hyprland version 2.1, in which that was an old, let me see here now, that was an old Arch-Hyprland install script that I used, and as you can see it was created like 7 months ago, and I created a video of the installing the Hyprland on EndeavourOS last May 16th. That's almost 6 months ago. Now my new Arch-Hyprland script, this is like the centralized, which I used for Hyprland on Arch, and at the same time it's pulling my Hyprland Dots, wherein I always put the up to date, or I always update this. Going back to EndeavourOS, EndeavourOS is one of the have a special place to me, because EndeavourOS is, I always recommend EndeavourOS to a new users who doesn't want to use the vanilla Arch. That's because EndeavourOS, in my opinion, they are very close to Arch. It's like they build the Arch, but then they just dressed up accordingly to what they have they wanted. And I used EndeavourOS before, although it's very short. That was a long time back before I moved to vanilla Arch. So anyway, as always, you need to download the EndeavourOS. Oh, by the way, with this, I'm happy to see now that there's a lot of mirrors on the EndeavourOS. That's because when I used it before and then I used their online installer, it takes really long time because the download speed is really slow. Now when I tried it a few days ago, and I found out that the download speed is now better. And couple of things now that I have noticed is this Galileo. Yeah, the Galileo release, they have switched to KDE Plasma, and they were using the XFCE before, which is a good move in my opinion. That's because now we are moving to Wayland, and XFCE is a little bit behind on Wayland. But also Plasma is also one of my, or it's still the DE of my choice compared to GNOME or XFCE. Of course, that's all depends on you. That's only my opinion. So anyway, download the EndeavourOS, and then of course boot it from your USB and boot it onto your computer. I'm not gonna do that in the hardware now, and I already download the ISO of it. So now I'm just gonna create a virtual for it. Then of course set it up, and here you go, the EndeavourOS, and then boot it from there. This is an Arch Linux, so I'm just put it as Arch Linux here, and I'm gonna assign a 8 GB of memory and then 8 threads. 20 GB is more than enough. Then I will change this to EndeavourOS Hyprland, and I always customize. That's because by default it's firmware. We can always change, of course, settings. And then I need to put the UEFI, remove the tablet, and boot it from there. The installation is pretty straightforward. If you have NVIDIA, of course you choose the NVIDIA part in there. So once you have booted with the EndeavourOS, as you can see here now, it's on Plasma environment, and then we're gonna start the installer. Now the installer here, there's a two version. One is offline and one is online. Offline means that you will install EndeavourOS with this default ship DE, which is Plasma. Online, you can choose and customize the way you want it. This installer is absolutely good because then you can customize however you want. And on this, I'm gonna set it up with a without DE. And then here we'll choose the without no desktop. You can also of course choose, but if you want to install Hyprland, I would highly suggest you go with either the Plasma or GNOME. So with this, then of course default X11, I'm not so sure. We actually need the Xorg server, Xrender, we don't need that one. And then leave input, Mesa util, okay, that's okay. And then of course the video, drivers, network, I remove as much as I can in here. I don't need the modem manager, OpenBTN, package management, of course, if you want. We have the Yay already, reflector, pacman contrib, downgrade, desktop integration, and so on and so forth. So just gonna choose now here. It's mostly pre-installed. Audio, of course. Okay, hardware, power, CPU specific. Now this CPU specific is of course if you have Intel or AMD, it's a VM, but since I have the AMD CPU, and then of course if you want to use the EndeavourOS applications, I don't know if this one will work on Hyprland though, but I'll try. And then do meld Firefox in language. I'm just gonna choose Firefox only. Of course, if you want to use also the LTS kernel, and I'm not gonna do that now. We just keep it same. Okay, then the bootloader. I always wanted to have the grub. That's because I'm not really familiar with systemd. Plus, can always customize the grub. And then of course we'll erase it and then swap but without Hibernate, and I will choose the BTRFS, and then name, type in your name, and then this is an EOS Hyprland, and then password. I'm not gonna choose this login automatically, and then I'm going to install. And then depending on your internet speed and depending on your system, of course, it may take 5-10 minutes or 15 minutes even, or sometimes may take longer. So just be patient, let the installer do its thing, and then you're gonna reboot to the newly installed EOS. Okay, so now it's finished installing, then we're gonna restart. Once you boot it, and of course log in with your details, and then let's just install a Neofetch here quickly. So Neofetch, then it has initially 677 packages already with 200, and it's only using this 201. That's because this is a VM. So anyway, let's see if Git is already installed. Now it's already installed, so you can just clone the repo using a git clone https from GitHub, and of course my repo, which is the Arch-Hyprland. and then we can change directory to that one. ls, as you can see, the install.sh is still not executable, so we need to make it executable by typing chmod +x install.sh. Now if you want to customize the packages, then you need to edit the install scripts. cd install, just press the tab there, ls, and what I highly suggest you to configure, or if you want to put some extra packages or change the packages, is here, the 00 hyper packages.sh. So we can edit it, see if Vim is pre-installed. Vim is not installed, so just use the nano hyper, then you just press tab, that's autocomplete. Then you add in here the extra packages that you want, and then of course you change here. Now if you're new, then I highly suggest not to touch it unless you're on a desktop. Of course you don't need the brightness CTL, and you can change here the way you want it. Don't worry, even though it's packages is already in here, because the system will just check, and then if it's already installed, it will just skip. It will not force to reinstall again. Then let's go back to that one. So clear ls, as you can see, the install.sh becomes green because now it's executable. So execute that by /install.sh. Now regarding my installer, it's just a matter of yes or no question, but then later on, somewhere in the middle, it will ask you again to reconfirm, especially the oh my ZHS part. Now for this AUR helper, of course, I set it to install the yay bin, but this one already has yay, so I'm just gonna use now yay here. For NVIDIA, if you have a NVIDIA, of course, then you choose yes or no in here. This is a VM, so I choose no. GTK Themes, this is if you want to install the pre-installed GTK Themes. And the GTK Themes that I have set is, let me just go back to my desktop. The GTK Themes that I have set up is the, where's that now? This Tokyo Night. And then if, let's say, let's change it to here, then you got this light and dark theme. So that's just it. So let's go back again here. So GTK Themes, I'll choose yes. Bluetooth, of course, if you want a Bluetooth. I don't have Bluetooth, or I don't have Bluetooth on the VM. I didn't set any Bluetooth or pass-through, so I would choose no. And then tuner, of course, is a file manager you wanted to use or not. It's entirely up to you. Since this is a no desktop, so no GUI file manager, I would just say yes. ROG laptops, of course, this is because I have the ROG laptop, so I'm just offering it like an extra. Since this is a VM, it's not a laptop, so I'll just no. SDDM, again, if you have a SDDM already here, I would suggest not to. Or if you have already the GDM, then you don't have to install the SDDM. But for this, since no desktop, so I would choose the SDDM. XCD Desktop Portal Hyprland, this is really usable, not only for screen share, there's also a different kind of things that it needed. I think screenshot also, not only for the screen share, but this is a VM and I'm not gonna data drive it, so I would choose no. Oh my ZHS, again, if you have a ZHS already installed, now I would suggest to say no in here. That's because it will not install anyway the ZHS and the themes that I set in here. But since this is a no this is no desktop, nothing, so I would choose yes. And then of course my Hyprland Dots, if you want it, then it's entirely up to you. Now, depending on your system here, depending on your internet speed, it would take some few minutes, 5-10 minutes. If you have a slower internet or a much less powerful computer, then it would take maybe longer than that. So let's just do its thing, and later on it will pop up a question whether you wanted to install on the SDDM. It will ask you which themes you wanted to install, and again, I've set it up specifically for ZHS. That's because I wanted to reconfirm, because if you just install it with ZHS and you already have ZHS, it will just fail the installer script. So just bear that in mind. I'm gonna fast forward the video here, and then I will just stop whenever there was a question. So this is now the one of the questions that I would like to install or ask is the SDDM themes. Then of course for Arch, this is only for Arch or my Arch-Hyprland. For this time, I'm gonna try the Capuchin themes. And then again, this is the another question which I said the my ZHS or ZHS. If you already have, see I made a big note here. If you have already ZHS and my ZHS, you should choose no in here. So this is just to reconfirm. I would choose yes, and then it should be pretty quick. And then I'm downloading now my key map or my dots. So yes, key map is correct, so I choose yes. And then of course the resolution for a better raw P appearance, so 1 would be the less than 1080p. And then if you wanted, this is something new which I added because thanks to Ja.KooLit, he pointed out about the not so much wallpapers. This is entirely optional. I put it on the readme. Where's the link for this? Or I'm just gonna show it now. We'll just go back here on the Hyprland Dots, wallpapers. See, small note on wallpapers. By default, it's only few wallpapers, so you can preview and check the additional wallpapers here. So I put the link in here, and these are the additional that it will ask. Again, I will keep adding in here, but if you have a good wallpaper you wanted to share, you can always fork into my wallpaper bank on my repo. Where is it now? So I would choose yes in here, then it's gonna download it, and then it's gonna put in the proper place. And then we come back now to the reboot. You need to reboot here, because if you don't reboot, then you'll just type a Hyprland, then it wouldn't work well based on my observation. So I would choose yes, it's gonna reboot the system, and then it should boot you to SDDM. Of course, pass the bootloader, and there you go. This is now the Capuchin theme. Wow, Domingo Diciembre. Did I set a wrong did I set a wrong language here? Let's see. Sometimes it does this actually, and I don't know why. There's no wallpaper, but you can just press this super W. This is not mine. Hold on. This is actually on my I forgot to pass through the keyboard. So super W, and then you can choose now let's change this, and there you go. I don't know why, but sometimes it works, sometimes not. Maybe that's because this is only a VM. So again, you represented same is universal for any installer. Click on the hint here, then you will have the this pop up, then to close, and then we install the tuner. And then if you want to change the GTK theme, So change to light, and as you can see, it automatically now applies the set icons, and then of course dark mode. And then let's try with the EOS. So there is here. Let me see if this one work. I am not 100. Oh, it does work. So good. It's good that the EOS packages are working. Or press any key to close. So let's close that. So let's try again one more time. The another EOS. What other EOS packages in here? Quick start install. Oh, good. So it did work. I'm glad it worked. I didn't even notice before. This is good. And how to close this? Super Q. Yeah. Okay, there you have it. And then I have changed some of the rofi here, and then yeah, that's just about it. I'm just really glad that it works with the EOS. Let me see this EOS apps info. Pacman didn't be updated. Pacman FY. Okay. Now got stuck or what? Oh. Let me try if it's work. Oh, it does. So let's see with the display. I don't think it works though. So I can see it. It's because it's using the different thing. But if you want to change the GTK settings, I have put here the nwg-look, which is a GTK setting. So just use this one instead. Mouse cursor also, I have pre-installed this Vibata or Q gear. Okay, let's try that one. Yep, it works. Works really well. Okay. And just a quick tour. Control W if you want to choose the other style. So let's now say the firewall symbol. One of the user Discord member, he suggested this, or he asked for this. And then chroma glow, this is only the colorful one. Then of course, if you want to change the layout here, let's take the top and bottom. Where's that now? Here, top and bottom. Then it changes the way wanted. So surprised this one didn't work at the bottom. It should work. Well, I didn't know there's a problem here. Let me try on my here. Let me try here. Quite surprised that it didn't work. Top and bottom. And then there was the chroma glow. No, that's the what's obsidian glow. It works, so it's only the VM. No, the other one is obsidian edge. Yeah, this is only the black one, since we have a dark background, so you don't really see much. Yep, so it's working fine. So it's only the VM. Oof, I'm so glad. Anyway, that's just about it. I won't go deeply in here, but I believe I need to create again another walkthrough to my video, because the walkthrough that I had before was an old one. Video walkthrough that was the Where is that now? Video walkthrough. Yeah, here. 1 month ago. This is a little bit old, and I did some changes in here. Okay, I hope this helps you decide if you can install it on the EndeavourOS. And I believe also EndeavourOS themselves, they are now building a Hyprland desktop environment. But if you want to use already the environment Hyprland, you can use my script. Alright guys, hope you like the video. For those who haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. This will help me grow. And by the way, before I end the video, I would like to thank both my sponsor. I got a sponsor now, Magno for NO10, and then of course to Tech Vishnu. So thank you very much guys for sponsoring me. You're now appearing in here, so please sponsor if you want. You can also support me on Ko-fi, of course. That way, if you like my work, please like. Stars on my Dotfiles would be nice, on my install script would be nice. And then what's even nice also is for you to subscribe on my YouTube. Take care guys, and I'll see you again on the next video. Bye now. Take good care.